Hello. When we were having a discussion that if we look back in almost last 15 to 20 years, we see that there are a number of technologies which have come up very fast. And in last video, we were discussing about it that there has been dominating technologies which includes AI, machine learning, deep learning, quantum computing, RP, and so on and so forth. But the one technology which has attracted which has come up very fast and people talk about very often on different platforms is the blockchain technology. And why when we use this term blockchain technology, automatically people start talking about cryptocurrency, and at some places you will very often see that when people talk about blockchain technology, they use this blockchain terminology as a synonym to the cryptocurrency. So we thought, let's for the sake of understanding, let's try to create an interaction, the sessions in which we will be talking about the basic, the fundamental aspects of blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. We have divided this entire conversation into two parts. In the first part, we will in first few videos we will be talking about cryptocurrency. Then, of course, the technology which actually creates the infrastructure, provides the infrastructure for creation of cryptocurrency, the blockchain technology. So today we will be trying to understand the historical perspective of cryptocurrency. And to begin with, I would like to quote here the quotation of Benjamin Graham, who is considered to be an intelligent investor. What he says that you should thoroughly analyze the company and the soundness of its underlying business before you buy its stock. You must deliberately protect yourself against serious losses. You must aspire to adequate, not extraordinary performance. And it fits very correct. So to begin with, how actually the cryptocurrency evolved. If you look back in the history, we see that the first ever currency which was created was Bitcoin. So the historical perspective, of course, it will be addressing and will be discussed in the context of Bitcoin. So and it has its own history. If you all remember that in 2008 was exploded into a global financial earthquake. It witnessed this collapse of the banking system in the United States, and that happened to be a major financial crisis, widespread all over the world, and entire world had witnessed the setback of this downfall. Precisely on 15 September 2008, the Lehman Brothers filed the bankruptcy, which remains the largest bankruptcy filing in the United States till date. So in order to prevent a possible collapse of the world financial system, many large financial institutions were bailed out by the government, so that to keep the trust, the confidence of investors intact. But the very same year marked the beginning of something that impacted the whole banking system, and it was the year white paper on Bitcoin when it was published. So precisely on November 1st, 2008, a white paper which title was Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, which was posted to a cryptographic mailing list by the creator of Bitcoin, whom we call the father of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. And I'm not going to discuss that entire paper here in this video because it will take a lot of time. But if we read the abstract of this paper, what it tells, in fact, it provides an entire roadmap that how actually this alternate electronic cash, to which we call cryptocurrency, is going to behave. So its abstract says that a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to other party without going through a financial institution. Means if there are two parties, if there are two persons or two parties, if they want to transact among themselves, now normal in conventional system what we follow today, if you buy something, then there is one party who wants to buy, there is another party which sells the product, the service, whatever you want to buy. And then in process, when the payment process comes, you are connected to the Mercantile Banking Association, and through protocol, then you choose your mode of payment, whether it is banking, UPI, or whatever it is, and then you are connected to the bank, and then transaction takes place. This electronic cash system eliminates this inclusion of financial institution in that entire process. So what does it say? That if two parties are exchanging among themselves, that transaction is between those two bodies, and nobody else would come to know actually what transaction has done. So the transaction details are disappearing, and that's what the essence of electronic cash system, especially when cryptocurrency comes. Okay. So immediately following it, in January 2009, the first ever set of 50 bitcoins. Remember this. This was January 2009, when first 50 bitcoins were released, along with the first block in blockchain, and called the Genesis block. So the first block which was created in blockchain was worth 50 bitcoins, and this first block is called Genesis block. So the Genesis block contained the headline of a famous UK newspaper with the date, the Times, 3rd January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for the banks. So later in January 2009, the first Bitcoin transactions took place between Satoshi Nakamoto and Hal Finney. Hal Finney is one of the early enthusiasts who assisted Nakamoto and joined the project on SourceForge. So post that, on February 11th, 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto, he posted on public forum that P2P Foundation Group. Some of the excerpts I will be, it should be of our interest, because when we talk about historical perspective as how the cryptocurrency evolved, this is very important, because this was the first announcement after creation of release of the first 50 bitcoins in January. So in February, after about a month, he published on his P2P Foundation Group and said, I have developed a new open source P2P e-cash system, which is called Bitcoin. That's how the name Bitcoin came. It's completely decentralized, with no central server or trust parties, because everything is based on crypto proof instead of trust. Give it a try, or take a look at the screenshot and design. And then he, of course, shared certain screenshots of entire process, that how actually it will be. And then he also responded to some of the questions which were raised by many of the people. So this was the initial time when actually the cryptocurrency in the form of Bitcoin is started. And soon that Bitcoin started gathering the momentum, because people found it a different, unique system where if they transact using Bitcoin, there was no third party, there was no financial institution was involved. So that was entirely private, secret, safe. And that's why people started looking at it as an alternative currency, and it started getting momentum. So early transactions were very low. Of course, it happens, because when something new comes into the practice, people in fact they show a kind of resistance because of lack of confidence, lack of trust, and how actually it will go, what the how the entire system will move forward. So because of that, and of course there was not that much easy process to procure these bitcoins. So the transaction was very low, limited to mainly technology enthusiasts, and its price was minuscule to a point less than 4 cents. So in the early days, it was tough to imagine that bitcoins could even cross $1 million market cap. I would like to just quote an example that in 2010, May 2010, one of the programmer, whose name was Laszlo Hanis, he spent 10,000 bitcoins to buy 2 pizzas. 10,000 bitcoins in 2010. 10,000 bitcoins was to be invested for 2 pizza. 10,000 bitcoin. Now today, 1 bitcoin is approximately, it lies somewhere between $44,000 to $45,000. 1 bitcoin. So And when he purchased these two the pizzas by spending 10,000 Bitcoin, still today, those two pizzas are considered to be one of the costliest pizzas sold all as on date. So finally, in November 2010, Bitcoin's market cap, it crossed US $1 million, and then since then, rest is the history. If you see, I would like to quote an example that in 2009, if one person invested $27 and then he forgot about it, because $27 was not that a large amount, he invested and then he forgot about it. Suddenly, after a few years later, he was just sitting and thinking that I invested. Suddenly, it might have struck him that I had invested $27 in Bitcoin in 2009. After a few years later, when casually he was checking that let's see that what's the current worth, it was $900,000. So $27 became $900,000 amount. This is how the Bitcoins got popularity, got momentum, and this is where now exactly it is placed. Once 2 years back, once the price of Bitcoin was around $56,000. Due to this, in last 2 years, that currency had dropped down significantly, but still now market has started picking up. And today in the morning, I was seeing that around $44,000+ is again the pricing of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has gone. So this was something which had a strong potential. There are a number of options available with the people, those who want to get into this entire buying, purchase of cryptocurrency. But trust me, the objective of this video is not to motivate you or to inspire you or to help you to identify how to make investment in cryptocurrency. But as an individual, we all should know if this thing is available and people are talking on such a large scale about this technology, what actually it is and how it is impacting individuals. So now next question comes to everyone's mind that if this is the scenario, then how to get this Bitcoin? Now there are two ways. The first, you can purchase it either from a Bitcoin exchange or having someone pay him or her in Bitcoin, or through mining it. Now mining is something which requires technology. So first we will discuss about how to purchase Bitcoin. So purchasing Bitcoin is a relatively straightforward task. An individual who needs to find a Bitcoin wallet or exchange service that he or she feels confident in, and that will help him or her meet his or her needs, requirements, goals, and aspirations. So some companies that provide these services include CoinMama, the local Bitcoins, IndaCoin, the Kraken, the BitQuick. So these are the companies which are providing these services, and all of these companies, they charge fee for their service. Some such as BitQuick, it provides the quickest transaction but may charge higher fee, because when you see the cryptocurrency market today, suppose if you have invested yesterday you invested 10,000 rupees. Today in morning, you may see an increase of growth of 100%, 150%, 200%. It may be, and there should not be any surprise in it. But after a few hours, you can even go minus 150, minus 200%. So that's how that fast change in price takes place. So it is very important that at what stage, at what time you purchase these cryptos, because in a fraction of seconds, you see a shoot in the price, and that will, of course, result into purchase of Bitcoins or cryptocurrencies on a higher cost. So if you purchase on a higher cost, higher pricing, you will have to wait for profits. And of course, that profit margin will reduce. So it is very important to understand and to purchase the cryptocurrencies, the coins at the right place, at the right price. So The local Bitcoin, it's a unique company that functions as an escrow service, enabling individuals to meet face to face to exchange the Bitcoins for predetermined price. So different companies have different minimum and maximum purchases. So if someone wants to make a purchase of as small as 500 rupees or as large as 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, so he or she may need to find a company that allows those purchase values, because every company may not allow you to purchase 5 lakhs worth value Bitcoin and cryptocurrency or Bitcoin in a day. So but there are certain things before purchasing Bitcoins, an individual needs to be aware of some factors. So the current exchange value of Bitcoin, like if you go to buy a dollar, it changes on daily basis. So this can fluctuate widely even within 24-hour period. So, but overall is generally on as upward trend. So, knowing the current exchange value can empower an individual to make best purchase decision. We will be talking about it as when you plan to buy or invest in cryptocurrency, how you should, what precautions you should take and how you should go ahead. We will be discussing in subsequent videos. The second, the individual also needs to be aware of what different cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin units are. So a Bitcoin is 1/1000th of a Bitcoin. A micro Bitcoin is 1/1 millionth of a Bitcoin. A Satoshi, named after Bitcoin's creator, is the smallest unit at 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. So next, the individual needs to determine that how much Bitcoin he or she wants to purchase. Remember, when I'm saying Bitcoin, why I'm using it? Because Bitcoin is the most oldest currency, and you correlate Bitcoin with the cryptocurrency. I'm talking about cryptocurrencies. So perhaps a more audacious investor could invest 20% of his or her monthly salary, while a more tepid investor will still wants to have possibility of profiting from the surging value of Bitcoin, might want to spend no more than 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. So with all of the necessary information on hand and the resolute decision of purchase Bitcoin, the time has come to make actual purchase. So first one needs to create an account with the company that will facilitate the purchase, and next one needs to enter in either in a fiat currency or in a Bitcoin. So how much purchase will be? There may be a few more hoops to jump through, but after entering payment information, the Bitcoins will be transferred to the person's wallet. So alternative way to purchasing Bitcoin, one that could help someone avoid the high transaction fee associated with some companies, it is to request to be paid in Bitcoins. So say that an entrepreneur owns a shop on a online marketplace. So the person can check and see if marketplace allows Bitcoin as a form of payment. Of course, in most of the countries that Bitcoin or cryptocurrency are not still legal tender for transactions, but if two individuals want to transact among themselves, they may find the ways. The second approach was, the first was approach how to procure Bitcoins was by purchasing it, and the second could be Bitcoin mining. But the Bitcoin doesn't have a central unit or treasure that produces them. So mining is the process by which new Bitcoins or new cryptocurrencies are created. So for that, special softwares, the compute power, high degree of electricity, the complex maths problem, all those things are to be taken care of, and complex maths problem needs to be resolved. So when the problem is solved, a block of Bitcoin is unlocked and added to the Bitcoin pool. So instead of paying for the currency, miners are usually rewarded with the percentage of the currency that they unlock. So the transaction completed by the process of mining must be verified on two ways, either using a proof of work or proof of stake protocol. So these are two protocols, in fact, which are used for this authenticity. So the process of mining helps to keep the network source by verifying the transactions before they can be added to the public ledger. So there are a couple of different ways to that someone can mine. One is to go solo. you procure the hardware, you procure the compute power, you procure all the resources, the electricity, everything you procure, and then person is in the race again against everyone else to get the correct hash, which will unlock the block of currency. So solo mining requires a lot of computing power, which I mentioned earlier, and memory. So solo mining requires a lot of, so one has to download the entire blockchain. That imagine having to download all of the information behind Bitcoin on your own computer. How much memory, how much space would you be requiring, and then to how to ensure that the entire creation process, the mining process is taking place. So high degree of compute power will also be a requirement there. The alternative is pool mining, where in which an individual or collaborator with other miners to get correct hash and unlock the block of currency. So the reward of mining will be shared between all the users in the mining pool, but those involved will be able to get a steady stream of virtual currency without having to download our entire blockchain. So each miner will have to determine which method is the best fit for him or her and accomplishing his or her goal. So this is what the fundamentally